Welcome to Hollywood First Look Features, your one-stop shop for all things Hollywood. I'm your host, Twee Fan. Gearing up for the holidays is big business, but before you start checking your list, check out our list. This week, we'll take you to Alabama for an in-depth look at the man that inspired the movie Just Mercy, Bryan Stevenson, and we'll also talk to Aldous Hodge and Alfred Woodard on their movie Clemency. Then we'll take you to Spies in Disguise and talk to directors Nick Bruno and Troy Quane and Mazioka with Rick Hong. All that and so much more. But first, let's take a look at what's happening in Hollywood. Last week, Warner Brothers released a trailer for the highly anticipated film In the Heights with Lin-Manuel Miranda, director John Chu, and the cast at a special event. Between the Hamilton creator and the Crazy Rich Asians director, this popular Broadway show coming to the big screen is sure to take filmmaking to new heights. Let's take a first look.
What does sueñito mean?
Sueñito. It means little dream.
That's it? No story?
All right, everybody sit down. It's a story of a block that was disappearing. In un barrio called Washington Heights. The streets were made of music.
I am Usnavi, and you probably never heard my name. Reports of my fame are greatly exaggerated.
Morning, Usnavi.
Pan caliente, café con leche.
On these blocks, you can't walk 2 steps without bumping into someone's big plan.
I'm making moves, I'm making deals, but guess what?
What?
You still ain't got no skills.
I've been saving up all my pennies in my piggy bank for this day.
This is going to be an emotional roller coaster. The odds are against you.
But there's a chance, right? A dream isn't some sparkly diamond. There's no shortcuts. Sometimes it's rough.
Yeah, I'm a street light choking on the heat. The world spins around while I'm frozen to my seat. The people that I know.
They're talking about kicking out all the dreamers.
But every day is different, so
It's time to make some noise.
We had to assert our dignity in small ways.
Shh. Just listen.
Little details that tell the world we are not invisible.
Ignore anyone who doubts you.
We came to work and to live, and we got a lot in common. DRPR, we are not stopping. Every day, until the day we go from poverty to stock options. Today's all we got, so we cannot stop. This is our block in the heights.
Frozen 2 has iced the competition. It reached the $1 billion mark, making it the 6th Disney movie this year to hit $1 billion globally, including Avengers, Endgame, Aladdin, Toy Story 4, The Lion King, and Captain Marvel. Frozen 2 is Disney Animation's 3rd movie to cross the $1 billion mark and now stands as the 7th biggest animated film ever. Earlier in December, Disney became the first studio in history to surpass $10 billion worldwide, and that's before Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker arrives in theaters December 20th. The film is directed by Jennifer Lee and Chris Buck and stars Idina Menzel, Kristen Bell, and Josh Gad. Universal's Last Christmas, a romantic comedy starring Emilia Clarke and Henry Golding, has much to celebrate this holiday with sales topping $100 million. The milestone is a win for original fare, one that is especially impressive considering the movie was skewed by critics for its wacky twist ending. Last Christmas is Universal's 3rd original comedy this year to surpass $100 million worldwide, no easy feat given heightened competition in the genre from streaming services. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker is hitting theaters, and one of its stars, Vietnamese-American actress Kelly Marie Tran, talked about needing to go to therapy following harassment from online trolls. Tran says she is in a good place now and is excited for the movie to come out and to work with J.J. Abrams again. Tran will reprise her role as Rose Tico in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, where she is expected to have a bigger role in the Resistance. The movie is out in theaters December 20th.
Funner California isn't a word, it's a place where guests come to stay. And play. then eat. On repeat. Harrah's Resort, Southern California, voted best resort in Funner, California.
Nó trôi dạt vào cuộc sống của chúng ta, phơi nhiễm chúng ta với rủi ro. Khói thuốc có vẻ vô hại, nhưng nó rất độc hại và không ai được an toàn cả. Đã đến lúc phải ngăn chặn mọi loại khói thuốc do người khác hút.
In the heart of Montgomery, Alabama is a history that is both rich and troubled, and it is also where the Equal Justice Initiative calls home and where the movie Just Mercy begins its story. Starring Michael B. Jordan and Oscar winners Jamie Foxx and Brie Larson, the movie is based on the real-life story of how one lawyer helped exonerate innocent men and women sitting on Alabama's death row. Join me as we talk to Brian Stevenson and find out what tips he gave Michael B. Jordan on how to get him just right.
Tell me everything that happened. The first time I visited death row, I wasn't expecting to meet somebody the same age as me. From a neighborhood just like ours. Could have been me, Mama.
But what you're doing is gonna make a lot of people upset.
You always taught me to fight for the people who need the help the most. Your life is still meaningful, and I'm gonna do everything possible to keep them from taking it. You don't know what you're into down here in Alabama when you're guilty from the moment you're born.
God.
Mr. McMillan.
We done here.
Mr. McMillan, please.
You the lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for driving all the way out here. Most lawyers barely make time to call.
I can't believe you talked to all my people and say you're gonna fight for me. I did. It mean a lot.
If you go digging in those wounds, you're gonna be making a lot of people very unhappy.
When people care about a thing that much, they'll do anything to get what they want.
When I first learned about all this, it was like looking at a river full of drowning people and not having any way of helping them.
I just wanted to ask you, Michael B. Jordan had said that, he felt a certain responsibility when he was making this movie to represent you and the characters. What was your responsibility in bringing Just Mercy, to life?
Yeah, I wanted to honestly reflect what's going on in our country, in our justice system. There's so many people who have been wrongly convicted and unfairly sentenced. So many people have been condemned unjustly. And their grief, their trauma, their struggle, their humanity has seemingly been ignored. And I just felt a need to give voice, to give exposure to that suffering, and to motivate people to demand more, to expect more from our system of justice. That we have a criminal justice system that treats you better if you're rich and guilty than if you're poor and innocent is tragic. It's a shame. And we have seemingly accepted that, and I think we have to change that. And so I just wanted to get people closer to what I've seen over the last 35 years. Children prosecuted as adults, put in adult jails and prisons where they're often brutalized, mentally disabled people unfairly treated, abused, not given the help they need. And that's the kind of motivation I had in writing the book, and I'm excited about the film because I think the film just creates an opportunity for more people to get a little glimpse into this world and hopefully be motivated to say something, do something after seeing the film to create justice. We need reform. We need to see a deeper commitment to fairness and equality.
What was it like for you to actually see your life on the big screen?
It's surreal. I have to say, I still haven't quite settled on it. But it's humbling, I mean, obviously, having somebody like Michael B. Jordan playing you is sort of otherworldly, and he's so talented and was so committed to the role. But it's also exciting, to see the clients that I worked with, people I care about. Walter McMillan, Anthony Ray Hinton, Herbert Richardson, all of these folks that I worked with are so brilliantly brought to life. Jamie Foxx's performance, Rob Morgan's performance, O'Shea Jackson, Karen Kendrick, Walter McMillan's wife, you know, all of these folks who I've worked with have gone through a lot. And I just think it's encouraging that people will get to see that and hopefully be motivated to respond to that, because there's still more people in jails and prisons who are wrongly convicted and unfairly sentenced.
Did you give Michael B. Jordan any tips on how to get you right?
My first tip was, keep working out, and you need the Black Panther Creed body. You need that. That was my primary tip. No, we spent a lot of time together. We talked. I think his biggest concern was just moving in a courtroom, because there's a sort of choreography that goes with a space like that, where you have to be on this side and not that side, and there are times to stand and there are times to move. And he was very intent on getting that right. But mostly it was just spending time together and getting a sense of, how to present things. I think he does a remarkable job. And I'm really, really, really proud and honored to have somebody with his talent, portraying me in a film.
Your life's work is 30 years condensed into this one movie.
Yeah.
What would you want people to walk away with when they watch it and leave the theaters, whether it's someone old or someone young?
Yeah. I hope people will walk away with the sense that you can make a difference, that if you're committed to improving things, if you want to change things, you just have to be dedicated, you have to be focused, but you can do it. We have a line in the film, and it's what I say in some of my speeches, but I am persuaded that if you want to change the world, you've got to stand up even when people say sit down. You've got to speak even when people say be quiet. And if people embrace that and recognize that they have the power to make a difference, then I'm just very excited about what might come from this film.
And this is Twee Fan for Hollywood First Look Features. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We with you. We all with you.
Your life is still meaningful, and I'm gonna do everything possible to keep them from taking it.
Kid-friendly? Check. Big-name stars, Will Smith and Tom Holland, also check. Animated and great entertainment? Check. Join Rick Hong as he talks to the directors behind Spies in Disguise, which is out in theaters Christmas Day.
Let the beat drop. I was the world's greatest spy. Look at your boy, Sleepy Night Night. And then you turn me into a pigeon. You better unbird me right now.
Technically, you kind of birded yourself.
Oh, I'm hurt this boy. There's a bad guy who needs to be stopped. And now I have to try to stop him while being a bird.
Lucky for you, I'm your wingman. This is official business.
Wow.
All right, gentlemen, well, I wanted to tell you congratulations. Such a fun film.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I know that you were a part of this process, but are you just as amazed as I was how real animation can look? Like the animation that you did in this movie.
Listen, the animators at Blue Sky Studios are the best in the business, and each one of them puts their heart and soul into every frame of this film, and we couldn't be more proud of the good-looking work they've done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's 550 people up in Greenwich who gave us their blood, sweat, and tears, and it's all up there on screen. It looks amazing.
Yeah, those background shots in particular, I thought that was like, just live action or something.
Yeah.
You just like played it at the
When
end.
you see Venice, I mean, Venice is gorgeous.
gorgeous.
And so much effort and so much attention to detail to get all that right, and then you throw the characters with fantastic performances into it, and it just is, it's magic. It's so amazing.
Well, speaking of fantastic performances, Mossy, I'd love to know the conversations between the three of you gentlemen to get this voice of Kimura.
Well, it's been a lot of sleepless nights, overnight camps, and just going through this character. But at the end of the day, they're just amazingly wonderful, great directors, so generous with their creativity, and
keep going.
And they're very encouraging. They're so collaborative. Like in the booth, we would try so many things and we would inspire each other, improvising, saying things, oh, that's hilarious, let's try this, let's talk about the lint here, let's talk about, the nipples here, whatever, and we just keep on going back and forth. It was just the most fun I ever had, and I literally could have just camped out all night talking about it.
Thank you.
That's amazing. I mean, animation is such a planned process. I mean, you don't get anything for free in animation. Every little thing has to be thought of. So the best place to be spontaneous is when you're in the booth with the actors. That's where we get to play and have fun and discover things about the characters. So.
One of the things I was curious about is when you're reading the script, Tom Holland's character has these inventions, these gadgets. So from what you imagine in your brain to what you see, how accurate was it? Or was it, because you can make it up. You can make up what the hug is and what the glitter is.
It was so important when we were coming up with Walter's gadgets that you didn't just make up anything, right? Walter had to have a philosophy, and it was a very non-violent philosophy. But all of it also has to have some sort of grounding in real science, right? So, like the kitty glitter, right? Releases serotonin, makes you relaxed, makes you have fun, right? So everything has real grounding in science, and that was very important to us, so that it didn't just come off cartoony, it felt real.
So then, do you gentlemen know as much about pigeons as anybody? Do you expect kids to start walking out of the theaters and start educating adults and having conversations in the playground about pigeons
Absolutely.
and what they can do?
If we've done nothing else with this movie, we've elevated hopefully the pigeon to the status of the great bird that it is.
Yes.
No, I mean, pigeons are amazing, and it really was a specific choice to make it a spy. It is the best spy. They're found in every major city around the world. No one really notices them.
Yes.
They can fly really fast, now almost 92.7 miles an hour. They've got eyes on the side of their head, so they can see in 360 degrees. They can see your face and their butt at the same time. It really is the best form for a spy to take.
And no pigeons were harmed in making this film.
Right.
No.
Right.
It's good to know.
Wow. Yeah, no.
I mean, and then finally, I grew up in the 80s, and there was a motto in the 80s that said, greed is good.
Mm-hmm.
But for 2019, for this film, I was wondering, is the motto, weird is good?
Yeah, no, listen, the messaging of being weird is so important, right? If we're gonna change the world, we have to do things a different way. And usually that's people who think differently are the ones that get to change the world. And I think what's really important with this movie is everyone goes into it wanting to be a Lance Sterling, that cool action hero, but realizing that they are like Walter Beckett, the person behind the scenes who is capable of changing the world.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to tell you, gentlemen, congratulations on a directorial debut. Masa, you're awesome in everything.
Thank you very much.
The movie is out in theaters on Christmas Day. Until next time, I'm Rick Hong. You've been watching Hollywood First Look Features.
Let's get weird.
Boom. Big boss, tailor-made garments. The only thing I needed was reason to be cautious. If I call it like I see it, then I would say it's time to become a decent human being without losing.
That's hot.
I started at the beginning. How that matters is the common ground that we live in and getting this bread like the pop pigeon. How far to go? I never paid attention. When I'm with you, I can't complete any big or small mission. But then there was
All right, Kimura. Starting. It's about to get messy. Time to go. Sleepy night night. I miss my hands.
But then there were two.
Imagine holding the life of someone in your hands and the toll it takes in carrying out death row execution. That's the reality for prison warden Bernadine Williams, played by Alfred Woodard in Clemency. Join us as we talk to the award-winning star and why this role is unlike any she's ever played.
How do you keep doing it?
I do my job.
These next 24 hours are crucial. Anthony's defense attorney has already asked for a reprieve from the governor's office.
You want to play this good guys and bad guys. And I'm one of the bad guys. But I give these men respect. All the way through.
I want to share a bed with my wife. How long is this going to be going on?
All we want is to be seen and to be heard. It is not over.
What did you guys know about the intricacies of what happens with the death penalty prior to signing on to this movie?
I knew nothing. All I knew is I joined petitions to try to stay executions. But what pricked up my ears when Bronwyn Cornelius, our producer, and our filmmaker Chinoya Chukwu came to me, they said a woman warden. I went, what? And then so I always like to do what I don't know how to do. And one of the great pluses of being an actor is that you have to be in a constant state of learning, even if you're 70 and you're acting. And so I knew nothing. You can't just act a good script when lives are in the balance. And so we went to prisons and we met with people. We met with people on both sides, the administrators, the wardens, the majors, condemned men, incarcerated men and women. So we wanted to, and it was necessary, to bring their truth forward, because that's what's missing in the conversation in America about the death penalty, the pros and the cons. People can still, it does not proselytize. It just brings a side that nobody has made public before.
The first step into research was for me to talk to Chinoya about her views and how she even came to this place of writing this. She told me about how she began thinking differently after diving into the Troy Davis case. Troy Davis, who had hundreds of thousands of letters of outpouring support as he was seeking clemency, and then after he was executed in Georgia, she noticed a lot of support coming from wardens and talking about how they supported his clemency. They were an advocate for his clemency and the damage that this could do to all people involved. So she gave me a book on his story. I read that, went up to San Quentin. I interviewed and spoke to the men serving life sentences. It just really all informed my idea of who and what this kind of character could be. I saw how the men on death row were treated in isolation, and I just really wanted, from my experience, I wanted to give that sense of renewed vigor to the audience, because I felt like my character embodied the idea of hope as I saw from the men that were actually behind bars. I felt like regardless of what his standards were, he had to have the strength to fabricate hope in any instance, no matter how much it was being taken away from him, as he's sitting here fighting for clemency, waiting for that day that they can say your number is up. And in terms of my conversation I wanted to have with the audience through this character was my sense of change, my personal change came from a place of understanding the severity of judgment. Judgment where you'd have no place to judge. Judgment where in the place it should be empathy. I wanted people to engage and adopt more empathy. And I hope that with my character, and I was definitely given the opportunity to show that, and I hope that I executed that well in being able to share that desire for people to, just grow in empathy for one another.
The two of you have been in this industry for so long.
A little while.
What is the one thing that you guys have yet to, a role that you guys have yet to achieve? Like, is there something out there that you haven't
A role
gotten?
to achieve or a role to be offered?
Both.
So if you're listening, you know what I'm saying, you want to send your boy a couple, I really don't know on that one. I mean, for me,
I am a woman of a certain age, and that age is over 60, over 65. And
well, seasoned, girl. It's
you
well
know,
seasoned, you know what I'm saying?
Know where all the buttons are. So, but I want to, along with other women, I won't start naming all of my sister girls who are of age, but I want to keep working. But I don't want to be everybody's grandmother or auntie. I want to be how women are, how grown women are in the world. We are kicking ass, taking names in every department, whether it's in The Hague, whether it is the Library of Congress, whether you are a police officer, a teacher, having adventure. Because, we have a tendency to try to put an expiration date on women in our society, and it's bull. Anything that a young nubile woman knows how to do on screen, grown women know how to do it even more because we've been doing it
Preach,
forever.
talent.
And I'm not talking about the actors. I'm talking about American women, and we want to bring you their stories.
High fives to that. Thank you guys so much. The movie was so moving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if this is gonna make things better, but I'm trying.
You can't understand. You can't know what it's like. I am alone.
I am going to fight for him right up until the very moment you stick that needle in his arm.
You've given me hope. I can't do this on my own anymore.
I want to be whole.
Warden.
That's going to do it for us here on Hollywood First Look Features. Taylor Swift stars in the upcoming Cats as Bombalurina, but she also contributed to a song new to the film, which she wrote with Andrew Lloyd Webber. I'm going to leave you with a look into that process. Cats is in theaters on December 20th. May all of you have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday with your friends and your families. My name is Tweek Fan, and I'll see you next week.
I am on the way to the studio. We're actually going to be recording a song that Andrew Lloyd Webber and I wrote together.
When I first read the screenplay, and the film is seen through Victoria's eyes, first thing I said was, we have to have a song for Victoria. It's an incredibly important central part of the whole film.
Frankie Hayward plays Victoria. I mean, extraordinary talent.
There was an ambition and an aspiration to have an original song in the movie. Just very much this understanding of like, let's write the best song we can.
I played it to you and I said, there's a new song. You said, I'll do the lyric, and you did it then and there, more or less.
Follow me home if you dare to.
What I couldn't believe was the extraordinary beauty of these lyrics that Taylor had written, and it was as if someone had come into the film I was in the middle of making and, read the script and met the actors and seen the world and reflected back to me a profound understanding of what we're trying to do with the movie. So it was utterly thrilling.
Andrew was saying, it's this song we want Victoria to sing, but I sing the studio recording of the song too.
Perilous night, their voices calling, a flicker of light before the dawning.
And so when you started playing the music, it was just this beautiful, haunting melody. T.S. Eliot is such a specific type of writer and uses such specific language and imagery. And so reading through, his work and everything, I just really wanted to reflect that within. You can't write a modern lyric for Cats. So, if you can't get T.S. Eliot, get T.S. I'm here for you.
But at least you have beautiful ghosts.
Funner California isn't a word, it's a place where guests come to stay. And play. Then eat. On repeat. Harrah's Resort, Southern California. Voted best resort in Funner California.
Nó trôi dạt vào cuộc sống của chúng ta, phơi nhiễm chúng ta với rủi ro. Khói thuốc có vẻ vô hại, nhưng nó rất độc hại và không ai được an toàn cả. Đã đến lúc phải ngăn chặn mọi loại khói thuốc do người khác hút.